messing with putting these slides in is really finicky. It's just a lot of fun, but it's really finicky, and yeah, you just really never know where you're going to be at with this stuff. So there you go. All right, these are a lot of fun. They're a lot of work. Just these take probably close to 30 minutes just to get the tops milled out, set up, put all the pieces together, and get them put in there. Just the nature of the beast, they've got slides. They're kind of delicate putting them in there. I don't know if I could make this outer box just a hair easier to go on. They fit fine when don't have this in there. For some reason, this set was a little bit harder. I had a little more fun starting off wrong. On this little one right here, I cut like 8-10 nails in there. I'd put it under 10 different times. And I milled it in there first right off the bat upside down. And I had this facing up, which this should have been down. And then it made my groove wider than the rest of them. So this one is my misfit of my grandkids. I'll probably make them a nicer one later on. The bottom panel, it easily slips on there. And that's got serviceable parts. I've got screws in there. And the hints on the very bottom. So each one of these, these will come right out. And I milled them a 64th of an inch all the way around it, a little less, so that they would work out there pretty easy. So if I did need to take them apart, got my paste wax over there, got all them sanded, ready to go in. So hopefully tomorrow I'll come in here and slide them in, put the screws in it, and they should go to town. These are my immediate family, and my brothers and sisters will get one, and it has my mom and dad's name on it, and then the 4 siblings of the family, and this one has my grandkids' names on it, and my daughter and son-in-law's name. So that's part of it. And then over here, these will probably go with me to Territorial, and I may not do anything with all of them, but I'll bring them down. I've got to finish them, put a clear coat over them, and all of them, including these over here. So I'll be spraying and finish tomorrow after I assemble them, and do light sanding on those, and they should be good to go. Okay, so I'm ready to spray. I'm going to be taking some of that brushing lacquer. This is just a flat, it's just a satin finish. So I generally like a little bit brighter finish, but this will be great for these. I'm using this Harbor Freight spray gun. It works real well with my light duty compressor. It uses between 3 and 4 CFM, and using that DeWalt, it's a Quiet Tech, and it does about well, it does pretty good. I mean, it'll spray for a while, and by the time I need a little bit of a break, it'll allow me to break. So I'm gonna thin this with 50% of the lacquer thinner and get ready to go to town on it. Okay, there we go. 9 dice. And various stages. This has got 2 coats of a brushing lacquer that's been thinned 15% with acetone, and they're light coats. This is a satin finish, so that it doesn't really build up. It just kind of gives it a protection. And these are a dice puzzle box, and some of them have Ranger coat on them. Some of them have some of my family on them. Some I have my daughter's family on them. And anyway, you turn them a certain way to get them to open. You turn them a certain way to get them closed. And the bottom has the hint. So there it is. Some of these will go with the Ranger coat. Will go to Territorial, and for gifts for most young bucks brought, if they don't have a prize for that already, and want to go for the auction. And so anyway, you move these things about 6 different ways to unlock them, and there you go. Some of them I put numbers on them for the segments. This is just a solid, or not solid, but this is just the oak box that I originally had decided wanted to do them in a 45-degree bevel. And I went with the box joints because they're just so easy to reproduce, and just put it in the CNC and away they go, and then they just kind of snap together. I've got to make one more modifications on this one here, these outside ones, to make them just a hair smaller, so when I go to put them on there, this is a fine joint, and if you have any friction, which you generally have some if you cut them real tight, so I'm going to make them a little bit bigger. It worked good for the bottoms. The bottoms have a panel that comes out, and it has a screw in each corner, or two of the corners, little brass screw, so that I can take the boxes apart and service them. Anyway, I've got a lot of hours in these, at least 3 hours in them, and then the finish as well. So they're solid. I mean, they're pretty hefty because they're basically full of 3 layers of wood, and they have the slides inside of them, and they're just kind of a cool thing. In the process of developing this, of course, I got this off of the idea off the web from a guy named John Witt, and this is the box in a polycarbonate. I made one out of plexiglass. Of course, it broke first time you touched it and looked at it. These have all the slides in them, and they all interact, and they as you turn them, they slide back and forth, and they open. And it has the deadbolt right here on the top, which slides down, and that locks the lid in. And then your other sides come into play here, and you have to do it in a certain order to get it to work. But anyway, this allowed me to kind of troubleshoot it and to get it lined out. And each step of the way, I just kept processing it, and just a little bit more and a little bit more. And the inner box has got a box very similar to that one inside it. And so the inner boxes are all box jointed, and so anyway, that's kind of what I'm doing, and that's my finish. Got to put one more coat on it, and I'll be done. Okay, there she is. Last coat on it. Got about 5 coats on it. It's pretty thin, but anyway, it works good. It's kind of funny. I get to find all my little defects, and that's just because I didn't run some pin nails through that one. And this one's got quite a bit extra timed up and down because it was the first one. And yeah, anyway, so it works. So I had 2 of the 9 boxes that don't lock if I don't do it precisely. So I may end up keeping those 2 here, and going in and take them out and fine tune them. I can put them in my Lexan box and check them out, but they may be for me to keep as reminders that not everything I do works all the time, but the rest of them working good. So that's good, and I hope the folks will get these and enjoy them. Okay, I've got 6 boxes that unlock and 3 boxes that don't. Let me put this way, I got 6 boxes that lock and unlock, and I got 3 boxes that won't stay locked. And these are the 3, and they're at different batches from different kinds, and I'm trying to figure out what it is that they don't. Well, in my hindsight, I fixed these to where they can be serviced, so I'm going to pop them open and try and see if I can figure out what it is that I've messed with it, that it's not working. And hopefully I've left them loose enough to get back in there without tearing them up. So we'll give it a try and see what we can do. Okay, I took a fine blade screwdriver and I went through all the pockets around the top and just gave them a little bit of a tap. I was able to get it down without just totally destroying it. I do have a couple spots that that'll take a little glue to fix it, but anyway, let's see what came up with. Yeah, got a little crack in there, but cedar is real prone for cracking. But when I get done with it, you probably won't see it too much. Anyway, we're going to put her back Well, I've had those two apart twice, and looking at them, they're just ornery. But the same thing that plagues them both is the same. I'm going to start out with a fresh attitude tomorrow. I did get one of them to start locking consistently, and I've got 6 of the 9s, or 7 of the 9 now, locking all the time, locking and closing, opening when they're supposed to. And there it is, another day in the shop. My wife said I've got more time in these than any boxes I've ever made. She's right. Yeah, they're intriguing and I enjoy it.